Jax is about to break. Not into abstraction, not into madness, but into something we've never seen from him. The truth. Episode 7 shattered the walls he's been hiding behind since day 1, and what happens in Episode 8 might be the most pivotal moment in the entire series. When Jax finally falls apart, he might just become the person who holds everyone together. Let's dive into why this rabbit's breakdown could save them all. That final sequence in Episode 7 where Jax completely unraveled, we've never seen him like this before. The sarcasm, the cruelty, the distance, all of it crumbled away. At first, it looked like he was spiraling toward abstraction. The visions of Ribbit, the psychological torture, the complete loss of composure. But rewatch that scene carefully. After the chaos, when everyone stood paralyzed by what Kane did, who spoke first? Jax. Not with joke or deflection, but with honest rage. That's not someone losing their mind. That's someone who stopped lying to themselves. For the first time, we're seeing Jax without the performance, and this honest version will likely define Episode 8. But the question is, can he survive becoming himself again? Since Episode 5, Ribbit's presence has been inescapable for Jax. The memories, the guilt, it's been eating him alive. Episode 7 brought this to a crescendo, nearly pushing him into abstraction. But here's what people are missing. That breakdown also forced a revelation. Jax can't maintain his delusions anymore, the ones where everyone has a role to play, where emotional distance equals safety, where cruelty is survival. He's starting to see the digital circus clearly. More importantly, he's seeing himself for who he actually is, not the character he's been playing. But he can't finish this journey alone. He needs help, and the setup is already in place. Let's talk about Kinger. Episode 7 showed him maintaining complete lucidity in any condition, not just in darkness anymore. This isn't random, it's setup. Kinger's become the unofficial therapist of the digital circus. Everyone who opens up to him comes away better. Now he's evolved past his limitations, able to help anyone, anytime. Right before Jax's complete breakdown, that's not coincidence. But there's more. Pomni's concern for Jax has been building since Episode 5. Despite his awful behavior in Episode 6, she still worries. You could see it throughout Episode 7. And Ragatha? Episode 6 showed she still cares about him despite everything. Here's what happens. After Episode 7's shock wears off, the group needs to move forward. Pomni and Ragatha will guide Jax toward Kinger. They've seen who he really is beneath the armor, and they'll push him to finally face everything he's been running from. When offered help, Jax has two choices. He refuses, convinced that being honest about Kane is enough. The confidence from Episode 7 carries him for a while, until he's alone in his room. That dark space filled with photographs and painful memories hits harder after Episode 7's trauma. The panic attacks return worse. The isolation becomes a prison. By Episode 9, we're watching someone who's retreated completely, hostile, paranoid, unable to connect. He wouldn't abstract, but he'd become a shell defined by fear. But I'm leaning toward this one. Remember when Jax pressed the red button? Ragatha asked,
"What did you just do?"
Look at his face. That's genuine regret. Someone snapping back to reality and seeing their actions clearly. After nearly abstracting, after losing control, Jax might finally admit his approach isn't working. Pushing people away doesn't protect him. It's destroying him and everyone around him. So when offered help, he takes it. If Jax accepts therapy with Kinger, we finally meet the real version of this character. Look at his room. It's dark and oppressive, but the details, photographs, personal items show someone capable of genuine kindness. The darkness won't let those qualities emerge. Whatever trauma he carries is preventing him from being who he actually is. Compare Jax's room to the others in the digital circus. Pomni's space has chaotic energy, but also brightness and openness. Gangle's room, despite her struggles, still has elements of light filtering through. But Jax's, it's consumed by shadow. Every corner seems to harbor another painful memory, another reminder of what he's lost and who he's become. The room reflects the internal battle he's been fighting. There are glimpses of warmth, personal touches that suggest he once cared deeply about things and people. But those elements are suffocating under the weight of darkness, both literal and metaphorical. It's a visual representation of someone who wants to connect, but has built walls so high that even he can't see over them anymore. After therapy with Kinger, imagine Jax not fixed, but healing. Processing his trauma doesn't erase it, but it gives him the tools to carry it differently. He could become a real leader, not through intimidation, but through genuine connection, someone who unites the group instead of dividing them. Think about what that would look like practically. Instead of sabotaging adventures or creating chaos for his own amusement, Jax could channel that strategic mind toward actually helping everyone survive. He's always been clever. Imagine that intelligence directed toward protection rather than destruction. The group has incredible resources when you think about it. Pomni's determination and problem-solving skills, Ragatha's emotional intelligence and resilience, Kinger's wisdom and newfound stability, Gangle's creativity, even Zubal's blunt honesty. But these strengths have been working against each other, partly because Jax keeps throwing wrenches into any cohesion they might build. A healed Jax doesn't just remove that obstacle, he becomes the person who actively brings those strengths together. Someone who can see what each person offers and help them see it too. That's real leadership, and it's what the digital circus desperately needs. This wouldn't just help Jax personally. A unified group with real leadership has infinitely better chances of escaping than traumatized individuals barely tolerating each other. When people trust each other, when they work together instead of constantly watching their backs, possibilities multiply. Strategies that seemed impossible with a fractured group suddenly become viable. And here's the thing, Jax has always had leadership potential. You can see it in how the others react to him, even when they hate what he's doing. There's a gravitational pull to his personality. Right now, that pull is destructive. But flip it, channel it towards something constructive, that changes everything. The voice actors know extensive backstory about Ribbit that we don't. Every reference so far has been fragmentary, painful glimpses without the full picture. But think about what those fragments have shown us. The snow, the distance that developed between Jax and Ribbit, the emphasis placed on that relationship in episode 7, suggesting it wasn't just another friendship, but something foundational to understanding who Jax is. We've seen how Ribbit haunts Jax. The visions aren't just random, they're specific, targeted, pulling at guilt and regret in ways that suggest whatever happened between them defines Jax's core trauma. This isn't just about losing someone in the digital circus. This is about something Jax did or didn't do, something he can't forgive himself for. To really understand what happened, we need more than flashbacks. Flashbacks give us moments, but they don't give us context. They don't give us Jax's perspective, his thoughts, his understanding of events. We've had the visual pieces. Now we need the emotional truth behind them. The therapy session with Kinger is perfect for this. Picture the scene. Kinger, patient and understanding, creating a safe space. Jax, finally vulnerable enough to let his guard down completely. And then he starts talking. Not in fragments, not in defensive deflections, but the whole story. How he met Ribbit, what their relationship meant, what happened during that snowy adventure that we saw glimpses of, the choices Jax made, the moment everything fell apart, why he carries this guilt like an anchor around his neck. This accomplishes multiple narrative goals at once. We get the backstory revelation we've been waiting for, the full picture that contextualizes every Ribbit reference up to this point. We see Jax demonstrate genuine growth, showing he's capable of the vulnerability required for real healing. But more than that, it gives emotional weight to the revelation. Hearing Jax tell this story himself, in his own words, with all the pain and regret he's been suppressing, that hits differently than watching events play out in a flashback. It makes us understand not just what happened, but what it means to him. And honestly, I think Ribbit's story is going to reframe everything we thought we knew about Jax. The hints suggest this isn't a simple tragedy. There's complexity here, moral ambiguity, choices made under impossible circumstances. The kind of story that explains why Jax built these walls in the first place. Whatever happened with Ribbit is the key to understanding why Jax became the person we've been watching for 7 episodes, and episode 8 might finally give us that key. Episode 8 of The Amazing Digital Circus is positioned to be a turning point for Jax and the entire series. The choice he makes to accept help or retreat further into isolation will ripple through every character arc and possibly determine if escape is even possible. I'm betting on the therapy route. Everything we've seen points toward Jax finally breaking down those walls and starting the real work of healing. We're about to witness a transformation that doesn't just redefine his character, but potentially shifts the entire dynamic of the show. Think about it. If Jax becomes the leader he's capable of being, if he channels his intelligence and charisma toward helping rather than hurting, the entire group's trajectory changes. Suddenly, escape isn't just a desperate fantasy, it's a real possibility with someone coordinating their efforts. And getting Ribbit's full story in the process, that's going to give us crucial context for everything that's happened and everything that's coming. Understanding Jax's past is essential to understanding where he's headed. What do you guys think? Does Jax accept Kinger's help and finally start healing, or does he push everyone away and spiral even deeper? And what do you think Ribbit's story will really reveal? Drop your theories in the comments. I read them all. If this breakdown helped you see episode 8 differently, hit like and subscribe. When episode 8 drops, we'll be back with a full breakdown.